Saturday, August 24th, 2024. Somehow this day was the perfect storm of interesting events in the Vilnius city center. There was the festival called Vilnius is my city, which was a celebration of foreign diversity in Vilnius. There was Military Tattoo Lithuania 2024, otherwise known as the NATO Military Orchestra Festival, with no connection at all to tattoos. There was some kind of vintage car exhibition on Gedimino Prospectus, which seemed to be linked to the Baltic Way, and then there was also a corgi race in Vilnius Park. Wow, so many events happening on the same day. Not only that, all of these things were actually super interesting and fun looking. Now, I only stumbled onto this car exhibition thing while walking to the military orchestra event, and I only found out about the corgi race because it was mentioned at the Vilnius is my city festival. So unfortunately, I only got to get a quick glimpse of one, and I missed out completely on the other. I spent a little while at the Vilnius is my city event with my family, and I checked out the stalls and said hi to some friends. Truly, I was torn. It looked like there were going to be more fun performances and activities at the festival, but I really did want to see the military bands that evening as well. Ultimately, I opted for the marching bands. I hope this overlap doesn't happen every year, because it would be sad to have to choose every time. But anyways, here is what I did that evening. So my wife headed home with our son and told me I could feel guilt-free to stay out all evening, which was very nice of her. With this in mind, I first headed to the start point of the military band parade route, which was Lukiškė Square. The event called for the bands to march from this square down Gedimino Prospectus, down to the cathedral, and onwards to Kalnų parkas for the concert event. And so I watched almost all of the bands depart the square, and then I essentially followed the Lithuanian Air Force Band to the concert space. Along the way, I looked back and then up to see one of the most beautiful scenes you'll ever find in Vilnius. A sky full of hot air balloons. Backlit by the setting sun, there were so many balloons filling the sky, and it was just so cool to see. But then, moving on, I made my way to the park, which has an amphitheater kind of thing, and I took a seat. It was still about an hour before the official start time of 6:30 p.m., and I am truly impressed with myself for sitting in that one spot for the whole time and not moving. It was uncomfortable to sit on that wooden bench, and I was sweaty and bugs were flying all over the place, and I thought I might have to get up to pee at one point. There were 2 to 3 times before the event started that I was so tempted to just leave, thinking about my comfortable couch or bed. But I made it. And then how was the concert? Well, the concert actually started at 6:45, which felt like forever after arriving at like 5:30. And then after things kicked off, 20 or 30 minutes of ceremonial introductory stuff before each band got their time in the spotlight. At this point, I should tell you that I'm actually not a huge fan of military marching band music. I'm sure your natural response would or should probably be, then why did you go? Well, it's because I saw the bands practicing in Cathedral Square last year, and it looked pretty cool. I also passed by some of the actual event last year as well. There I noticed that it wasn't just marching band music. Instead, they were doing some pretty fun performances. I remember a fun one from the Latvian military band and another fun drumstick one with a German military band. And so when I showed up to this 2024 event, I was definitely hoping for more of the same, or at least some of it mixed in with the more traditional military band stuff. So here are some things that stood out for me for this 2024 event. Number 1, the German band played this tune that sounded like, how would I describe it? Like the harmonic version of the Lithuanian national anthem. I asked my Instagram followers if they could hear it too, and most people said that it was nothing like the Lithuanian anthem. Although maybe like 30% agreed with me. But here, let me demonstrate with a side-by-side playback of each similar part, and comment below if you can hear what I'm talking about. So yeah, there was that. Secondly, the Polish band had some pretty fun performances. I quite like their cover of Shut Up and Dance, which is a song originally performed by the group Walk the Moon. I remember seeing Latvians do it last year as well, and enjoyed it there too. And at number 3, at the more traditional end of the spectrum, was the Dutch group. They were impressive in size, and the fact that they wore those big furry hats the entire time was fun to see, but for me, nothing of what they played was all that memorable. And then number 4, at the other end of the spectrum, was the United States, which mostly performed pop tunes, old hits like Sweet Caroline and Stand By Me. I don't know if it was just me or if other people could hear it as well, but it sounded like whoever was playing at the drum kit was like off beat or something. I say sounded like because I'm sure they were probably in sync, but maybe it had something to do with like an echo of the beat against the various surfaces, because things sounded not quite right. And then I have to say that while I find the more pop culture stuff quite fun, I feel like the Americans went too far with it. The singers were great and all, but I think I would have enjoyed it more without vocals. Don't kill me for saying that, just my own personal opinion and preferences. And then after that, it was the Lithuanian military bands. Now I have to admit that I stayed for a little bit and then I left early. I was getting tired, hungry, and the one performance that I saw didn't convince me to stay, even if the vocalist rolled up in a JLTV. But actually, I'm glad I left a little early, before things fully ended. By doing this, I got to see a bit more of the backstage action, with all the other military band members standing around, watching and waiting for the grand finale. But yeah, that was my experience of the 2024 military tattoo event in Vilnius. After watching this video, what do you think about it? Is it something you would want to attend yourself? Or would you have had more fun elsewhere? Let me know by leaving a comment. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.